Hey Tackle Warehouse fans, Mike Iaconelli here with my tackle recap for my last tournament of the year, the AOY Championship on Chatuge Lake. Shout out to two of the guys there at that event. Of course, James Elam winning the event. Good job, James. And Justin Lucas capturing Angler of the Year. Great job. But I want to talk to you about the lures that I used and my approach to the lake. You know, there was a lot of spotted bass schooling activity going on, and I fished that about 60% each day. And you got to remember, this is a clear highland lake with blueback herring. A lot of guys that did well in the tournament used a topwater exclusively, but I went a little bit different route, and I used a jerkbait and a spoon to catch most of my fish in this tournament. I kept it pretty simple, and I used a lure that I've had a lot of success with on lakes that have blueback herring. This is a Rapala. This is the Shadow Rap Shad, and this is the Shadow Rap Shad Deep. And it's got the deeper bill. It's in a really cool color that looks like a blueback herring. It was diving about 8 or 10 feet, which is exactly where those fish were suspended, chasing blueback herring. I fished it around deep brush piles, around points, and on humps, and really kept my eye out for bait and the presence of fish. I fished that jerkbait on the Abu Garcia Ike Series Rod 2.0. It's the 6/8 delay rod. And this rod, if you look at it, is a rod I designed especially for jerkbaits. It's got a real short butt, perfect for when you're twitching a topwater or a jerkbait. And it's a delay series, so it has that real soft, spongy tip on it. It's parabolic. And it's perfect for a treble hook lure like a jerkbait. The reel, I used the Ike Series Abu Garcia Revo, and I used it in a 6/6-1 to force myself to kind of slow it down a little bit and make it more methodical in the retrieve. Caught a lot of fish on that, but when the fish weren't really breaking, or if I had like a lull in the activity, I would kind of bomb cast a big spoon. And this thing really imitated a dying blueback herring. And every day I caught a few nice fish on this thing. This is the 3/4 ounce Mulligan Lover spoon, and I fished it in the chrome color. This thing, as it falls, it's pretty amazing. It falls real slow, it's cupped, and it has this very distinct side-to-side shimmy. The other thing that's great about the Mulligan Lover spoon, it's got this big giant treble in the back, but it has a stinger hidden on the body. If you look at it, it's actually attached to a magnet, so it keeps that hook tight to the body, but when a fish hits at it from the front, you hook them and it pulls away from the spoon. Caught a lot of fish on that little stinger, and this was a great bait when the fish weren't necessarily schooling. I fished that on the Abu Garcia Ike Series 2.0 in the 7-foot medium action power series, and I coupled that with a Abu Garcia MGX in a 8/0-1. Caught a lot of fish on that. Line choice on that, by the way, was 15-pound 100% Charlene fluorocarbon, and on the jerkbait it was 8-pound Berkley 100% fluorocarbon. Last but not least, every day I caught one big one under a dock, and I would fish shallow for maybe 2 hours each day trying to catch a big kicker, big largemouth or big spot coming from that much water on shallow docks. And without a doubt, I knew that those fish were feeding on small bluegill, so I used a Missile Jigs 1/2 ounce green pumpkin mini flip jig. I just put a 3-inch green pumpkin Berkley Powerbait Chigger Craw on the back. I fished it on 17-pound Berkley Trilene 100% fluorocarbon. And I would just skip it around the last docks that had a little bit of water on them in the back of the pocket. If it had a pontoon boat on it, it made it even better. I used the Abu Garcia Ike Series 2.0 rod in the 7.2 medium heavy power series rod. And last but not least, I used the Abu Garcia Ike Revo in the 8.0-1. Perfect reel for skipping around docks, fast gear ratio to jack them and get them out of there. Good event for me. I finished up the year with a top 20, and more importantly, I made the Bassmaster Classic. Hope you enjoyed it. That was the tackle that I used at Lake Chatuge for the BASS AOY Championship.